Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night if you happen to be in the same time area as myself. My name is Gil Poznanski. It is 6:15, which means it's dark outside. And I apologize for the 15-minute late start to this stream. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a hiccup in the sense that, and I just want to make sure the stream is going on. My camera, which you guys knew was crashing in the last couple of streams, literally 30 seconds before we were about to go live, decided it was going to die. So basically, I know I promised Dom the other day that I would give him half of the $5 that we made. But hey, man, I might have to just kind of work out what's going on. But yeah, look, thank you so much for coming and being a part of this live stream. You're seeing a little bit more of my room because all the cool setup is not really going to work with the HP cam that I'm using right now. But that's okay. You know what they say? The show must go on. And I'm absolutely excited to be a part of this live stream for a number of very, very cool reasons. I already see a whole lot of people in the chat room, which is awesome. So if you are in the chat room, please let us know who you are and where you are on this incredibly amazing planet. It is always great to be able to see what's going on. Let's jump to the chat right now and see what's going on. We actually have Robert in the house. We can see you and hear you, Gil. Thank you so much, Robert, for letting me know, because it was a little bit of a push and pull to be able to get the stream up today. On top of, I should share with you guys that last night I had a dodgy meal. We are in lockdown here, and I thought I would go out and get some takeaway and not try to endanger myself by cooking. And I think I got a dodgy meal. I was up all night, sick as a dog. So I'm really glad that we were able to do this, even with the camera I'm looking at the wrong camera. I've got to look at this camera right here. Even with that camera problems, it is super cool to be here with you right now. Tech for Grannies says hello from Melbourne. Thank you, Tech for Grannies. I've got a sneaky suspicion who that is. We've got Dominic. Dom in the house. He was with us last week. Super excited to see him live here. We've also got Graham. So Graham, let me know where you're from. It is awesome to see that feedback that Graham was saying that he really enjoyed what Dom and I were talking about. I'm sure we will do that again really, really soon. We've got Ollie over in Belgium. Ollie, you've definitely been here before. Thank you so much for coming along. I'm more than happy for you to listen, and we've got a few things we're going to go and cover on this live stream. So it is really cool. We've got 13 people, so let's jump straight into it. As I said a little bit earlier, I was kind of a little sick as a dog this week. Literally, there's nothing worse than when you are so ill that when you finally fall asleep, you dream of your illness. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And that really was what was going on for me last night. So we took a little bit of a change here. We are going to be talking about some of the changes coming up to the Emblaser. There was some really amazing news that came out over the last week, and I'm sure Dom in the chat room will also be able to help us out. But let's go and start looking at some of the amazing work that people with the Emblaser are creating, because you know what, we're gonna talk about kind of makers and what people are doing with their Emblazers. So the very first one is Greg. Greg actually created this keychain, the Gto Keychain. He's actually made that with red acrylic. So I know there's a lot of conversations, there's a lot of discussions about whether or not the Emblaser is capable to cut acrylic. I love this example because it shows you it is not see-through, it's not transparent acrylic, it is red. So that allows enough of a dense kind of surface for the laser to be able to cut through and actually transfer all that sort of information. It is really kind of cool to see that example. I get feedback all the time, and a lot of people in the Emblaser 2 chat room always find people who are just really frustrated about the idea of cutting acrylic. It can be done, but as we spoke about in an earlier live stream, the way a diode laser works is it actually uses visible light. So if you can, if you've got a piece of perspex or a piece of acrylic that's clear and you can shine a light through it, then you are also shining the energy from your Emblaser. It's a great way to know if you can't shine light through it, you have a very good chance of being able to cut things out. Let's move on to the next gallery submission. This is him. Him has been here before. He makes some incredible work. I know he's super excited to hear all about what is going to be coming up with the Emblaser. These happen to be coasters, which are made, I believe, of echinacea wood. I think it's echinacea. I'm not too sure. But he's made these in the last week, and you can see the work in there. It's incredible. Those patterns really leads itself to a lot of the work that you can do in Lightburn. The ideas of patterns and mantras, you know, they really tie in. It's all kind of mathematical. So that's awesome work from him. We're going to move on to Jonah. Jonah actually made these two. Well, I'm thinking one is either a stencil or a door plate, a Spanky, and then another Spanky sign with some really cool line artwork that, to me, I'm just taking a guess here, has been modified from a photo of his dog, either outside of Lightburn. I don't think a Lightburn has that sort of detail. It might be a Photoshop modification and then brought that back in to do some line work, or it could be actually, now that I think about it, it actually looks like it may be work that is done in Illustrator. So that is really awesome to see. It is very, very cool. Before I move on, because I was so flustered in the beginning, if this is your first time to this live stream, or if you're catching us on the replay, the best way you can support us is actually to go and reach down at this little corner right here to my little face that says subscribe. And if you hit that subscribe button, that helps us out immensely. Also, as you can see from the scroll or in the chat room, if you want to actually help out financially, that'd be great, because I got to go get a new camera, and that is going to, maybe doing it this way, but yeah, that's definitely, I like things to run when I actually say they are. 6 o'clock is 6 o'clock, so I do apologize for that. Let's go back to the gallery right now. And we're looking at, I believe this is Matei. Matei created this amazing child's smartphone for his little baby. It's actually made out of MDF, and you can see there's different colors, different textures. I'm assuming that his son or daughter loves to grab the phone and play with it. Not something you always want to give to your child, so he actually created his own version with kind of like different textures and different colors. And this is awesome. This is the sort of stuff that I love to see from people who are working with the Emblaser, because it's taking creativity to the next level. And I'm always so blown away by the amount of creativity and the actual need that is being answered when people are actually applying what they know to the Emblaser. So that piece is really kind of cool. I believe it is made through MDF. The only thing that I would love to know about this is whether or not that piece has been lacquered, because I wouldn't want a child chewing on MDF. It's probably one of the most poisonous materials that are made, and I'd hate for that to happen. Just going back to the chat room really quick before we move on to some of the other videos or examples of stuff that has been made by Emblaser users. Robert, as I was saying, was here before. Adrian is a brand new in the house. I want to thank you, Adrian, for coming along and actually sharing with this laser live stream. It is great to have new blood come aboard. And as I was saying before, if you want to help us out, if you hit that little subscribe button just below, would probably be right where the laser chat is. I would really love that. That would support us amazingly. We've got Design, Creativity, and Technology channel. My good friend Aaron in the house, thank you so much for coming on board and letting us know what is going on. So we've got people right across the country. We've got people from Queensland. We've got people from around the room, Belgium. It is awesome to bring all that talent, all that creativity here and share it out. Jumping back to the very next example, and what I love about this is that it shows the diversity and of what the Emblaser can do. This happens to be a ring that is engraved. Megan actually made this ring for her husband. You can see some of the really nice engravings around it. I believe it may be bamboo. I did try to get a hold of Megan and try to ask her exactly what that material was that she was using. But you know what? It is awesome to see. I know, being the geek that I am, if I could make a ring, it would probably be the one ring from Lord of the Fries, but what am I saying? Lord of... Boy, someone in the chat room help me out here. Lord of the Rings. What am I saying? It's been a big night. But yeah, I would love to do the one ring. And that's what this actually reminds me of. The fact that this ring is done. I have lots of questions. I hope Megan actually can come into the chat room. I want to know if she actually did this in parts, or whether or not she actually had like a rotary assembly that was in the Emblaser. I don't know of one, but that result is so awesome. Steve C's in the chat room saying hello. Steve, thank you for coming along and hanging out with us. It is always great to have new people, especially return people, come back and see what's going on. Let's move on a little bit further to show some of these examples. We have a lot of them here today. And one of the things that I keep saying, I love to see these examples of what people work, but there are some people who get a machine, whether it's the Emblaser or another type of laser cutter, and they feel frustrated. They're not getting the results they want. They're not really getting the things out of it that they want. These are fantastic examples of what a little bit of work and understanding of workflow can actually create. It is awesome. I'm just going to go back to the chat room really quickly because so Mike actually has seen that piece before. He actually explained to us that she mentioned that she engraved it flat, then bent the ring, which makes total sense. I actually thought that the ring was made, but that's okay. And Dom says, is the Lord of the Fries what made you ill last night? I'm trying to get for sponsorship. No, but yeah, when they change names of things that you love, it throws me off a lot. So Lord of the Fries became Lord of the Rings. And there was a video store in Queensland called Planet of the Tapes. So every time I think of Planet of the Apes, it comes out as Planet of the Tapes. So yeah, I think it's absolutely. Okay, Steve C says, hi, it's Abby. Hey, Abby, how you doing, man? It is all... Oh, it's Abby. Hey, Abby, how you doing? I actually realized what's going on. Abby, please say hello to your father, and I'm glad that you're chilling out with us right here. Let's go back, and this is some amazing work that came up this week when we put the call out. This is actually from Lara Adams. Lara is kind of just hit the Emblaser scene hard. You can see she has a lit box there. It looks very much like a kind of like a dragon or even a Zelda type theme. On the other side, you can see that she has a lot of Nightmare for Christmas kind of ornaments that are just incredibly awesome. And then, you know what? I love this piece. This is a 20-sided die that's lit internally, as well as a box, a Dungeon Master box for the multiple dice you would use, as well as a cutting board. And I was so blown away by this, I said, you know what? I have to talk to Lara. So we are actually right now going to jump across to Lara. Lara's in the waiting room. Lara, how are you tonight? Apart from like all the little kind of cock-ups at the last minute, I'm doing really well. Yeah, well, it definitely does. And you've been really kind. I think you saw that, not a meltdown, more a hardware meltdown than anything else that's going on right now. So it is really kind of cool to have you on board. And I'd love to talk to you. I know we've had a very quick chat before, but how did you begin working with the Emblaser 2? Hang on 1 second. I'm wondering. Let me just check because I've got a feeling no one can hear you, and that's no good. And I'm going to that's absolutely no good. Let's see if I can get that working right now, because that is the last thing we want to do. Okay, so Josh, they can't hear you, so that sucks totally. So let me just see 1 second. Let me just let's see what's going on. Try talking now, Lara. Let's see what's going on.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm trying. Let's see. This has been a very interesting day when it comes to sources and all the rest of it. I can't find my... Guys, let me know in the chat room. You can hear me. Can you hear Lara? We're trying to see what's going on. We can't... I'm getting lots and lots of comments such as, I can't hear Lara, which totally sucks. Let me go back, and I'm getting messages now from people. That's okay. Give me 1 second. We are going to work this out. This is when you go live, Oh, people are saying it's working now. All right, we've got it. Let's go back to it. Guys, if you can hear Lara, please put it in the chat room. Lara, we are talking. The question was, what was your impetus? What was going on? Perfect. Everyone can hear you. Whew, thank you so much. Can you hear Lara now as well?
Awesome. I think they can.
Okay, fantastic. Great, guys. Thank you so much for the messages. So you were saying that you had an impulse to create.
Yeah, creativity's always been, I guess, in my bones. As cliche as that sounds, I just didn't know what I wanted to create. And then I guess just going down the Google rabbit hole, I kind of discovered laser cutting, and I started actually doing up files and sending the files off for somebody else to laser cut my stuff. And I thought, why am I not doing this myself?
Excellent. So really, you kind of started working with laser cutters by making up the files. Were you making them up in like Cura, or sorry, not Cura, Corel Draw or Illustrator?
Illustrator.
Okay, so you're doing it in Illustrator. You were then sending it across to be able to get those things cut out. And then I guess at a point you said, "Hey, I need to go and get my own laser." How did you find the Emblaser? Like of all the choices that are out there, how was your choice the Emblaser?
Google is my friend. All the other, I was reading everything on Google, basically anything that I could, and the Emblaser just kind of seemed perfect for what I wanted, what I needed it for, and obviously supporting an Australian business is a big thing. So it just all kind of worked out, and price was right as well. So yeah. It was perfect.
It sounds awesome. I mean, one of the things that I love about the Emblaser is the fact that the machine can be kind of sat down on a desk. It can go out and you can actually put a tube out the back outside of a window. You don't have to use any kind of water cooling. And it sits in your office. Like, I mean, that's the thing that I love the most about this machine. Have you found any drawbacks with some of the stuff? Like, have you had to modify any sort of projects or anything with the Emblaser? Or are you just kind of going from 0 to 1,000?
Mostly 0 to 1,000. I mean, some things that I've wanted to create, I've had to do smaller or cut up and then put together afterwards, because when I dream big. So I want like wall scale length stuff, but we'll get there eventually. But no, other like a few modifications, 0 to 1,000 is kind of the way I roll. So
no, that sounds awesome. I mean, it really is kind of cool to hear. I know that there's this kind of really weird experience that people can have. And it can be, you've had experiences, let's say with a CO2 laser or farming out work. There's lots of power behind it. I always think of the Emblaser as like a surgeon's scalpel, right? You can do magic with it, but sometimes you just need the technique. It's not about power. And but the freedom that you get to be able to have that in your home and be able to play. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but I've gone and watched something. I'm openly a very big geek when it comes to all the kind of fan stuff. I love replicating things that I see on screen, and I'm like straight into my office playing with Lightburn and trying to recreate what I'm seeing. And that freedom is amazing.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. I wake up in the morning, I'm straight in my office, and I'm straight to creating. Like it's you kind of just zone out from reality. Fantasy's always better. So it's good.
Excellent. So we were looking at some of the things before. I'm just going to put up on screen. We've got the dice and the cutting board and a few other. We saw some other examples. What's been your favorite project so far?
Oh, so many. All of my D&D stuff, like all my tabletop gaming, is ultimately my favorite. I have to say the giant D20 dice is probably my absolute fave, and it's just because of the representation of what it is to me, and the fantasy behind it and the ambience it creates. It's amazing. But I've got because I run a small business, my biggest sale is always my tarot card boxes, which is some of my spiritual stuff, but my D&D is my favorite stuff.
No, I totally get it. And when I saw that 20-sided die, I immediately thought to myself, wow, that is so cool. Like you could hit a button and a light would turn up, so you don't have to actually, and you were like, no, that's actually not what it does. And I was like, okay, we're going to talk because I know how to do that. And obviously tarot boxes, which are amazing. In the chat room right now, I'm going to, Dominic DiGiorgio, who runs the company that makes the Emblazers, is really curious as to what other projects you're working on right now.
Oh, I'm doing the standard, not standard. I'm working on like the bases for tabletop games, so different like grass and stone and things like that, and making them so I can create them 3D, and sell them as like giant town sets, so people can create their own towns, I guess, like little villages if they want to,
It's
during their
awesome.
tabletop gamings and things. Yeah, so that, also some controller holders for like a bat symbol for like PS4 controllers and things like that.
That's awesome. Like that is, I mean, it's correct. First of all, I love the idea of having a bat symbol on my PS2 controller or PS4
Yeah.
controller. Like, I mean, that I'm up for that. When it comes to materials, what's your choice? Like, there are, again, it's an interesting thing because we haven't had this conversation before. But what's your favorite kind of material to go to when you're working with a diode laser like this one?
The main one I use is just standard 3 mil plywood, just because it's the easiest to get.
Sure.
But there has been some stuff that I've had, which is it's still plywood, but it's specific laser ply, and it just cuts like butter, and it's amazing. But plywood's sturdy; it does everything I need it to do. So, um, yeah, until I get more used to acrylic, plywood's kind of my go-to.
I like plywood a lot. I mean, the experience that I've had too is like laser ply. I mean, it is a little bit more, but it is like you will get the same result absolutely every single time. Have you tried anything like locally from Bunnings? And have you seen the difference in the ability to be able to cut?
Yeah, it's a hit and miss with Bunnings. If I'm desperate, that's where I get my plywood from.
Okay.
But sometimes I've had some of their stuff that has cut like butter. It's amazing. But some of their other stuff has just got, I don't know, like glue through it or something, and it doesn't cut, and then it tears, and yeah. So I try to order my stuff like from Plyco or something like that.
Sure. No, I totally understand that. I mean, the difference between using something that's off the shelf that you buy in a hardware store and then using some, graded laser material, it blows you away. And again, we get a lot of feedback, especially on the Facebook group, about things not working, and you realize that all materials are not made to the same standard. So you end up having issues. It's so frustrating when you put in so much work to be able to get the result that you want, and then it falls apart. I've even had the experience where I've cut on a piece of MDF from Bunnings, and on the left hand side, perfect. On the right hand side, maybe there was a little bit more material or more glue. I did
Yes.
50 passes, will not cut at all. And again, once you understand that that's not the machine, that's not because I haven't cleaned the lens, that's because I haven't, done something wrong with the machine. That just happens to be because of the actual kind of manufacturing model of the material. Lara, if you could make anything that you want with your Emblaser, what comes to mind? Like, what's your one killer kind of project that you're really looking forward to?
Something that I really want to work on is I used to be obsessed with those escape the room kind of games. So I've always wanted to create. A lot of them had like a puzzle box, that you had to create different puzzles that would open up. Then there'd be another box on the inside. So to be able to create something like that, where it's just a continuous riddles and puzzles and things like that,
Awesome.
would be amazing. Yeah.
That
So
that is
that's yeah.
That is incredibly awesome. Before we continue, I just wanted to acknowledge that design and creativity were saying that the Emblaser is a great laser cutting system, and his good friend Dr. Tony, I'm not even going to say his last name because I'm going to get it wrong, always speaks highly of the Emblaser. I mean, one of the beautiful things about the Emblaser is the fact that because they are safe and because they are actually something that you can use in a room, in a classroom, it allows you the ability to kind of understand and see exactly what it is that you're working on. And especially for students, the idea of being able to experience, cutting material, as opposed to, let's say, 3D printing, which can take hours before you actually get a result. It's pretty wild. I mean, I'm really curious about, you did say that you started off by designing stuff and then sending it off to a third party to cut it out. Why laser cutting initially? Like, why not a jigsaw or, cutting out with a fret saw or something like that? Why laser?
Just
Putting you on the spot,
because,
just because.
it's I don't know, just because it's interesting. My father always talked about getting like one of those giant machines because he wanted to cut fire pits and things like that. And that's how I initially found out about different ways to cut things. I thought you had to, go do woodworking and all that kind of stuff. And
Right.
then when I discovered that you could do it all digitally, which is kind of where I more shine, and then, have the machine do it all for you, it just kind of worked with everything that I needed. So, yeah.
Look, you know what? I totally get it. I look at computers as anything boxes, and especially with things like laser cutters or 3D printers, you can actually kind of add things on that will actually take that result out of the digital realm and put it into the kind of physical realm as such. I always thought about that film Tron. They went into the computer. Well, all this kind of equipment goes and spits it out of the computer. So it's kind of really cool to be able to see that sort of stuff and also see your work. I mean, your work is outstanding. There's a lot of really great comments in the chat room. I mean, Dominic was saying he would love to see those puzzle boxes, and that's, it's something they would like to see. And Mike as well is saying, hey, that sounds really, really cool. I'm a great believer in the fact that what we make is actually a form of communication. You're able to take your imagination and you create something, and then you hand it over to someone else. And then they actually put your imagination in the palm of their hand and have an experience. That's why I was so blown away by that 20-sided die, and also the box that you made for the Dungeon Masters to use with Dungeons and Dragons and role playing. Because the conduit into that imaginative realm is the dice. I love the fact that you honed in on that as something that you wanted to honor and express, and it's just so awesome to see. I mean, today we had 10 examples of what people make with the Emblaser 2, and all of them are just, they knock them out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
I totally agree. I did especially love that the bendable ring or bracelet, or
Sure.
what it was. That was amazing. So yeah, 100% agree. But yeah, no, doing like the dice and things like that, it just, as I said earlier, fantasy is so much better than reality. So to be able to create an ambiance, and give that to people, like it just,
It is awesome. It's totally awesome. Now, Lara, if people want to see your work or maybe even purchase some of those, where do they find it?
My store's called Blackbird Crafts. So I've got a website with Afterpay, just saying.
Sure.
So yeah, no, so blackbirdcrafts.com.au. I'm on Etsy as well, but
Sure. No, it sounds awesome. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing other things that you come up and you share in not only in the Facebook group but also here on the live stream. As I explained to you when I reached out and wanted to bring you on board, the people who are watching now may go, you know what, it's kind of interesting, I might want to do that, but I don't know how. And in a way, the sharing, the collaborative sharing of what is possible is almost in a way giving people permission. There may be someone sitting on the fence going, I don't know if I want to buy a laser cut, I don't know what's going on. And then bang, they see an example like that's up on the screen right now, or even the first stuff that you did with the LED box, which actually, before you go, tell us the story behind the box with, it looks like Link or Zelda in there.
Yeah, that was actually originally a custom made piece for my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law and sister have just had another kid named Zelda. But he's obsessed with Zelda. So
Great.
I basically got a whole bunch of images. I altered them and made a light box, and I thought, this, I think I might sell this. So yeah,
Zelda's an amazing.
Yeah.
Zelda's an amazing name. I don't know if you know, but Robin Williams' oldest daughter is called Zelda because during the pregnancy, that's what he and his wife were playing. So they named his first daughter Zelda. So she holds. So your niece holds great company.
Mm-hmm. I love Robin Williams. I think I'd heard that, but I'm not sure. But thank you for the information.
No problems. I love to be able to share that sort of stuff. Lara, thank you so much for coming and joining us. It's so great to see your work, but it's also great to understand what your thoughts were behind it and why you wanted to create this sort of stuff. I do want to mention that Lara is actually based in Melbourne, so she's also kind of like one of the home truths, or it seems that Darkly Labs, myself, and now Lara is also based in Melbourne. So I'm hoping you're safe during this lockdown. I hope you're not going too crazy. It's kind of nice to have a piece of hardware to play with while you've got umpteen hours wondering what's going on. So.
Well, I'm a hermit anyway, so I wasn't really leaving. But yeah, no, it's good. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I thank you, and you know what? I hope this is the beginning of a number of conversations, both in the live stream and outside. It is always cool to meet people who kind of get it, not just using the technology, but also what they're actually making themselves. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. So, I mean, it's just amazing. This live stream is all about not just, it's not just about answering questions and showing different projects, but it's also about getting to understand the people behind it. And it's so awesome to be able to grab people in, especially as I was mentioning in this lockdown. I can't go and interview people, but it's great to use this technology to be able to go and do that. But if you came here initially to get some news about the Emblaser, you would have known last time we had this lockdown live stream. Sorry, lockdown live stream is something else. That's something else that I do on a completely different platform. When the last time we did this laser live stream, I've got to learn to not use the letter L every time I use the word live stream. We spoke to Dominic Giorgio, who happens to be in the chat room, and he was actually on a completely different live stream over the weekend with a group called Makers on Tap that actually did a virtual makeathon. They brought him in, and I had to go and hear what he had to say. And he actually broke some really interesting news that I want to share with you guys. The first bit of news that was just mind-blowing is the fact that the next Emblaser 3 model may have up to 10% times 10 the power of the Emblaser 2. And I mean, when you think about that, I was like, whoa. You're telling me that the next model may go up by 10 times the amount of power? Listen, a lot of people, when it comes to diodes, sit there and say, 5 watt, not really going to be able to do many things. I thought about it, I did a little bit of math, and this actually means that you potentially, this new model, instead of having 5 watt, can actually go up to 50 watts worth of power. And this is phenomenal. This is just amazing. As I was hearing this, I was just like, well, Dom, first of all, why didn't you mention it when we were talking on the laser live stream? But that's okay. I just love the fact that, this technology is being refined. The guys at Darkly Lab are doing their very best to answer some of the requests that have come in. I mean, when it comes to laser power, because of the diode, that's always been one of those things that's really, really interesting. I have no idea how they're going to get 50 watts out of it. Maybe the diode will only last for like 20 minutes at a time. I'm not too sure. But really, what that actually means is this is basically the equivalent of the power of a CO2 laser with the benefits of a diode. And what does that mean? You still won't need to have cooling. You won't have to have water cooling. You don't have to plumb in some sort of extraction. I mean, this sort of stuff is really, really amazing. And you know what? I'm going to jump to the chat room because Dom has just written in here, and I'm just going to see if it's come up. It will come up in a second. But he goes, new technology breakthrough we made recently. This is awesome. This is like not only awesome, this is like one of the very cool game changers. So it is cool. I'm going to be in this chat because I want you to see it from Dominic's chat himself. Like, this is not just about me telling you. It's like, it's awesome to be able to see. So this is super cool stuff, and I am incredibly excited about the idea of getting my hands on a 50 watt diode laser. Right now, I was thinking about it. You're still going to have the same issues when it comes to acrylic. But, with that sort of power, we were just talking to Lara about things like MDF, right, from Bunnings. Do I have enough power to punch through that? I can always go and buy the laser ply for projects, but can I actually go out and do something that's a little bit more, with a little bit more strength in there than what we've got now? So this is like totally awesome. And Graham in the chat room is actually asking that he'd love to see the new Emblaser in a kit form. So again, that's some great feedback. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a variation of that, given the fact that there is an Emblaser core version. Maybe that's something that we can see. Dominic is in the chat room, so you never know what's going on. We've got Mike saying Bunnings ply in one pass, right? I mean, like, awesome. Like it's kind of cool. The thing for me And what makes me really, really excited about it is that I could take a Emblaser 3, potentially an Emblaser 3, because this is all theoretical. I mean, these are all kind of new breakthroughs that are coming out. But like my mind went, I could take an Emblaser 3 potentially into a classroom and finish a project before the end of that class for the students. So to me, that is really, really potential stuff, and it's safe given the fact that these machines are considered class 1. You can't get into them, you can't open them up while they're firing, you can't, put your hands in. You know, having students, you never know when someone decides he's going to look at where the laser is coming out, and you realize that's not something you really want to do. So these are incredible news. Any sort of news that I can find, either from around the net or from Darkly Labs, I will definitely share with you guys. So I am super excited. The Emblaser 3. I gotta be honest with you. Once Dom said this, I don't want to wait. I want it now. I want it now, man. Just give me the Can we modify the Emblaser 3, Dom? Do you need someone to give their machine to you and say make it happen? Because I want it to happen. I want it to happen so much. I mean, as I was saying, the difference between a surgeon's scalpel and brute force. Well, what if we can do both at the same time? Oh man, that's going to change the game big time. And I can just see it's, taking the Emblaser and just, on that trajectory right through the roof. It is awesome stuff to hear. Let's just check that chat room out once more. Love to see the Emblaser, says Graham. Dominic says, haven't gotten that far yet with a kit, but we are always wanting to provide a low-cost option for users. We've heard that all of that when Dom was on board for the last laser live stream. So you know what? If it can be done, I have great faith that Darkly Labs will definitely work that out. Will the core be able to be updated to the new laser? I've got to be honest with you. I don't think we've even thought about that far. I'm saying we, because I'm talking to you. No, I don't think Darkly Labs has even thought about it that far. I think these are all interesting questions, and I'm sure they will be answered down the road. One ply pass would be great, currently doing 10 to 16 on an E1, says Graham. Well, the Emblaser 1, yeah, I would say it's about the optics. The Emblaser 1 and the Emblaser 2 optics definitely had a major difference, but I can totally see that. I think most people would give up at the 7th pass, so hang in there. But yeah, totally be cool. Dominic sends a message to me that basically says we want to make it happen too, where it's been developed and it's still a way off. That's cool. Like I said, it is. I'm salivating. Is what I'm trying to say to you. I can't wait to be able to see this machine. I just think that it's going to open up a lot more markets. I know that some schools kind of, they argue that power is an issue. They want to get something a little bit more powerful. In New South Wales, they can't get a machine that's more than 50 watt in a public school. So you're going to hit right on that mark. And I think that you'll be able to really clean up something. It's really cool. Design, creativity, and technology says, I want it and I want it now. I'm totally in with you. Man, let's go down. Let's blow off the curfew. Oh no, we've got 1 hour. Let's go and raid Darkly Labs and see what they've got there. I'll meet you down there. Dom's probably getting nervous right now. Anything is possible, says Dominic, depending on a lot of things, but if we can, we will make it happen. I'm going to say, I added the happens, but you kind of understand. This is amazing news. This is one of the reasons why, even with everything that was going on, the camera's failing and me being ill and I wanted to get on and share this news with you. Guys, we're gonna call this the stream. I've gotten out all the information. I really want to thank Laura. It's Lara. I'm so bad with names. I want to thank Lara for coming on board and sharing her process. I have a feeling that Lara will turn up again if I can coerce her onto coming on board this live stream yet again, so that we can actually talk about maybe some of her processes and some where she gets a little bit more of that inspiration. I know that I'd love to work with some of the projects that she's working on. As I said, that 20-sided dice, I think, needs to have some electronics and a randomizer put in. And you know what? When you're a maker, I always say, it's great to make by yourself, but it's so much better when you can make with other people. And that's my journey. That's my mission in life, is to meet as many great makers and be able to share a moment in time where we collaborate and create something that possibly might not have been made in the first place. I mean, there is awesome stuff. We got the chat room is popping like crazy. Graham says, I'm on the other side of 60 years old. People get impatient. Hey man, I maybe I'm old. I don't know. I don't think so. But hey, I'm impatient too. I think there's lots of people. Lara says, thank you. I'll send you one. Too kind. Absolutely too kind. And AJK just says, I just logged on, but I missed the announcement about the Emblaser 3. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But that's okay, AJK, because I love you, so I'm going to show you right now that this is the news. The next Emblaser model may have up to 10 times the power of the Emblaser 2. This means more, not only, it means instead of having 5 watts, 50 watts, this is equaling the power of a CO2 laser with the benefit of a diode laser. That is the news about the Emblaser 2. This is a new breakthrough that Darkly Labs has come up with. I'm so curious to work out what's going on, and if you heard the news like I did, you are going to be super excited about the idea of having a diode laser in your home, having access to it that is going to equal a CO2 laser. I want to thank every single person who came into this live stream today. It's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. You know what? As I say in Hollywood, the show must go on. But if you want to help us out, as I was saying before, if you want to just go and hit that subscribe button just down there, or if you really got something out of this, is super excited and you like this sort of stuff, you can always support the stream by giving a super chat, or if you want, you can actually give a one-time donation. I normally wouldn't ask that. The donation link is in the description. I am now going to try and work out how to get a brand new camera so that I'm not doing it like this. This looks like a webcam. My digital SLR, like I was telling people before, died out just before I came on board, and poor Lara and I were fussing around. So thank you so much. We're going to be here in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to start setting up a way of people being able to communicate their questions. I know that's been a request that's been made by a number of people, including some of the suppliers around the world, so that people can ask questions directly in. I'm hoping that we can get some of the tech support people, or if not Dominic, in this live chat yet again. And if you are interested in sharing your work and just connecting with other Emblaser 2 users around the world, please feel free to either drop a message in the chat or in the video chat, and we can make that happen. If you happen to be in Melbourne, in the middle of a stage 4 lockdown, which means no work and basically a curfew that's going to fire up in less than an hour or just over an hour, be safe. Get creative with your Emblaser or any other type of technology that you have. I want to thank you all for your support, and we will see you all in 2 weeks' time on a Thursday, 6 p.m. You guys are awesome. Hey, Emblaser 3, 50 watts. Oh man, I can't get over it. That is super cool.